My phone just said 9 o'clock. Okay, welcome everybody. This is a meeting of the Holiday Island Suburban Improvement District Board of Commissioners. It's a regular meeting. I'd like to call to order. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Secretary, would you please do the roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Surratt. Commissioner Stamps.
Here.
And Commissioner Brown.
Here.
Commissioner Randy.
Here.
And Commissioner Pinkley here.
I believe we have a quorum. Okay. The next item on here is to approve the agenda, but I believe we have an amendment that you want to propose for this.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to add two items to the agenda with the board's approval. One is an item about the ballroom use by groups giving funds to HICID and the fees for that. And so that would be one agenda item that I would want you to add, and I'll take the second one in just a moment, and if you have to vote on it. You'd want two of them? Both?
Yeah.
Okay. The second one is for the Board of Commissioners' support to the A&P Advertising Promotion Commission for the November 5th vote for SRT rentals. And I have something to read for that, the actual agenda item on the ballot. We have 6 members on the committee, and so I'll talk more about that when we get to that.
Okay. We have, I guess we need to vote on whether or not to add those to the agenda.
I make the motion, we add those two items to the agenda today.
Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And they could they be before the two big items, the business items?
We'll see if we can arrange that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
The minutes for the July 29th meeting, I read them this morning, and they looked fine to me. Now,
I move that we approve the minutes of the July 29 meeting as emailed to us.
I'll second it.
got a motion to approve and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Do we have any ceremonial? I don't think so. Announcements? Cover anything? We're now down to public comments. Do we have any public comments? Do you want to bring the sheet, Randy? Would you do that for me? Thank you. Thank you, sir. No public comments? Okay. Do we have any reports? Mr. Manager?
We're going to start off with Friday. We did a department head meeting, and everybody got their own set of their code of regulations that we were looking into and seeing what we can change on them. The UV grant paperwork is all done, so now we are on to the next step of getting all that process done. Alan is back to working on the water state study. So he will be handing that over to his supervisor into last week, probably the beginning of this week, and then we'll be getting that study done.
Good.
Yeah.
Finally.
We're still getting fire chief apps in, so we haven't concluded that yet. And then I called and talked to Amanda Hiddle. She's the public health inspector about the ballroom. Her biggest thing is the walk-in cooler, which I think we all pretty much knew. The biggest problem is the temperature control of all the refrigerated stuff. is our main thing. And if we could put in a walk-in cooler that is accessible to the public for the ballroom, then one cooler can take care of it, and then we can go on with the ballroom and not have to probably have that separate $5 fee for everybody.
I have a
So-
question about that. please.
Yep.
Are we talking about the walk-in in the grill area?
Yes.
Or in the ballroom itself?
Nope.
Talking
If-
about the grill?
So if we put a walk-in at the grill, at the country club kitchen, and it's still, if we put like an outside unit through
Oh.
that hallway,
Okay.
and it's accessible to the people renting the ballroom, then she will let that slide.
Okay.
But the biggest problem is the refrigeration of the place.
And we had approved $15,000 in the capital improvement budget.
Yes, that we-
For that.
Yep.
And it's for 2 or 3 years. we
Yeah,
had
and
that
it's,
in the
it's
budget.
just now that,
It's become an
January,
issue.
yeah, we're gonna have to do it January.
Yep.
The other thing she said we could do is stainless steel shelving in the ballroom kitchen, which would make it more industrial. The 3-bay sink is getting old, but it's fine. If we want to think about upgrading that later on, that helped. And then a hot hold unit. She says we should look into getting a hot hold unit for it too, for the ballroom. So, but the main concern is the walk-in cooler, in which we had recurring violations because of the refrigeration at the country club kitchen. So it's just something we really need to
Yeah,
look into.
we've been talking about the walk-in, I know, for probably 3 years now.
Yeah, and then finally, the audit should be done in a couple more weeks, and then we need to decide if we're gonna do a special meeting to, check it out, and,
I think we should.
yep. So as soon as we get the audit, get the notification from John that it is ready to go, we'll send out emails or messages and get a special meeting set up for it.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Rich, do we have any pricing on this walk-in cooler?
No, I haven't even looked into it yet. The capital
There was a bid-
improvement, yeah.
There was a bid for it at one, or Lauren had a quote.
I thought it was like 50,000 or something.
No, it was 15.
15.
15?
Yeah.
15.
there's-
Oh, okay.
After I looked into it, and this is the one that goes outside, that you can have freezer on one side, fridge on the other. I mean, it's kind of a state-of-the-art walk-in cooler, and they're not that bad priced.
How big a cooler are you talking about?
I'm talking-
Where you can actually walk into it?
Yep, and what I'm thinking is if we get a good one, it'll be right outside that back door, and then we can use the walk-through door for that. And then
Oh, okay,
we'll
you're
put up
talking
a-
out by the air conditioning
Yeah.
units.
Then we'll
Where-
just have to put up a privacy fence, so that way it's not an eyesore.
Do we have to pour concrete to set it on, or what?
We'll just have to see what the dimensions are, because that concrete out back there is pretty good ways from the building, but we'll have to get final dimensions and all that stuff.
I don't think you'd need over a 8 by 10.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be plenty big for that place.
Yeah, and then we could get rid of some of the other residential fridges and open
Yeah.
stuff up.
Right, because I know I had, in my shops, we had walk-in cooler. I actually built one, and it was 15 by 20 by 10 high, and I built it. And you know what we used for refrigeration in it? Was we used a 220 air conditioner with a cool bot.
Yep.
And kept it at 34 degrees all the time,
Yeah, it
with
ain't
beef
like-
hanging in it.
Yeah, it ain't like we're gonna be hanging beef in it.
But you
either.
can buy one for around 10,000, a walk-in, about $10,000 is the size we're talking about.
Yep. That's
Rich, are you going to go ahead and get bids for one?
I'll start looking into them and getting prices, and that way it's on the capital improvements for next year, so we can approve it next year first thing.
The only other thing, any other word on the generator?
We have bids for the generators because of what we have on the item for the SCADA system.
Uh-huh.
We're just kind of putting it off right now, putting it on the back burner, which the poor water department gets everything put on the back burner, but we're gonna get on it, and then, but the SCADA system's more important right now.
Very good. Okay. Any other reports?
That's all I have.
Okay. Well, let's get it into the agenda. New business? Oh. Yes, you can.
Chairman. The first one is about the ballroom use. I'm going to read something from our regulations. It's very short, about 10 lines. It says, "Clubs and organizations that donate funds directly to HICID or for the community of Holiday Island's benefit may receive credit toward room rental in a dollar amount up to the dollar amount of the donation. The certified donation amount in a calendar year will become the dollar amount of the room rental credit available in the following year. Any such credit is not transferable and shall expire at the end of the calendar year it is applied. An organization may apply to HICID to certify the donation credit by filing a statement detailing the funds donated and a description of the purpose and disposition of the funds. Donations are primarily for the benefit of the group. Making donations will not be eligible. In-kind donations and donated labor shall not be considered eligible." So what this means in the 18 years I've been here is Friends of the Barn, Holiday Island Hospitality Association, and the Firemen's Auxiliary, Holiday Island Firemen's Auxiliary, are the ones that generated the most money, and we have some representatives here today to talk about that. There's been quite a stir about $500 to rent the ballroom, and that might include, some of the folks have told me that would include these groups that I just mentioned. So one of the groups is Hi-Ha, and also represented to the auxiliary, and Karen Tim is here, I think, to speak about the issue, if you will. Turn on the microphone or the button.
Karen Tim, 9 Rancho Vista Lane. Good morning, Mr. Chairman Stamps, board members, District Manager Figgins, and Holiday Island residents. I am here on behalf of Holiday Island Hospitality Association, also known as Hi-Ha, and Holiday Island Fire Department Auxiliary, also known as HIFTA, regarding the regulations for rental of the clubhouse ballroom. It has been brought to our attention, and please correct me if I am wrong, but going forward, everyone and anyone will be charged $500 for the ballroom. We feel that because Hi-Ha and HIFTA have benefited HICID and our community in many ways, that we should be exempt from this fee. Hi-Ha holds 4 meetings per year at the clubhouse. Hi-Ha has paid for the creation of several wood carvings, including yearly maintenance and repairs. They have purchased and installed benches on the golf course and park renovations with picnic tables. Those have been just in the last 3 years. They also bought a floor cleaner for the clubhouse kitchen, the chairs for the clubhouse ballroom, paid half of the entry flags, purchased holiday decorations for the ballroom and the main entrance, and incorporation signage at the 2 entrances. This is just to mention a few things that they have contributed over the years. Hi-Ha undertakes 2 roadside cleanups per year and implements a summer event for the community, as well as creates, prints, and distributes phone books and welcome bags for new residents. HIFTA holds 5 meetings per year in the ballroom, 1 Super Sunday, and a golf tournament. All proceeds from these events help to purchase much-needed equipment and supplies for Holiday Island Fire Department. I have never seen a fire auxiliary anywhere that does so much for their fire department and employees. Some highlights that the auxiliary have contributed since 2019: membership and lunches, golf tournament profit, Super Sunday, White Elephant. Total income since 2019, $135,000, $822.19. Payouts to the fire department from 2019 to 2024 for trailers, AC for Station 2, extractor, printer, tone system, station beds, extraction equipment, radios, intercom system, boat improvements, uniforms, trailer, old chief truck repairs, new chief truck logos, lights, bed cover, slides, exercise equipment, ice maker for safety equipment, uniforms, truck repair, washing machine, carport, for equipment cabinets, coolers, portable radios, wheel stoppers, and lectern. Total that we have given since 2019 is $149,000, $49,739.66. Also, HIHA, they have projects and programs that they contribute to, and this year we contributed $1,000 to the Arkansas State Chili Cook-Off, $1,000 to the Holiday Island Singers, $500 to the Holiday Island Community Garden, and more. I hope that this information has been helpful when considering the use of the clubhouse ballroom for future events for these two organizations that have done so much for HISD and the community, and allow us to use the clubhouse at no cost so that we can keep doing the wonderful things that we have been doing for years. Following this new proposed rule would take $2,000 to $3,500 a year away from HIHA and HIFTA's community projects. Thank you for your consideration in this manner.
Thank you. Now, let me explain something. That there's always exceptions to the rule. We make the rule for, like, if it's a wedding or something like that, the use of the ballroom is $500. There's always going to be exceptions to that rule. We will work on those. We understand what the organizations of Holiday Island do, and they will not be penalized, I assure you. But anyway, give Rich and all of us a chance to go over that, and then we will do what is right, I assure you. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to comment on that as far as these groups, HIHA and the Fire Department Auxiliary and all that. We're completely redoing the regulations concerning those as we speak, and those issues have been addressed. And I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, but it will be fixed.
It will be fixed, will it?
Yes.
Yeah, I assure you it will, okay? And thank you for your concern. We're concerned about it too. We understand that we know what y'all do, and we appreciate you because that builds this community, and we're not going to tear anything down that's doing that, okay? Thank you. Okay, now then, you want to do the tax thing? Go ahead.
Okay, the second agenda item, thank you for letting me do this, or hearing about it. And I'm going to make a motion, and I'm going to read it, and if I can get a second, we'll go on. I move that HISD, that's the Board of Commissioners, support the Holiday Island Short-Term Rental Tax Committee in promoting the Advertising and Promotion Commission's initiative in the November 5th election to pass the 3% A&P tax on short-term rental businesses to be used exclusively for advertising and promotion for the city of Holiday Island pursuant to the authority of the Arkansas Advertising and Promotion Act, codified under Arkansas Code ANN 26-75-601, ex secretary.
I'll make that motion to do it.
We have a motion made. Do I hear a second? Tim, oh, you're seconding it.
Second.
Okay,
Yeah.
further discussion.
I move.
Are you seconding the motion?
Yeah.
He made.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yes, I thought I had to make the motion.
Okay, now then, discussion.
Mr. Chairman, we have several members of the committee here today. All of the 6 cannot be here. I was appointed by Rich to be our BOC representative and have been pretty active in that. Bryce Holland is here as the chair, and Peggy Lodewijk is the secretary-treasurer, and we meet up at the city council meetings room, the council chambers.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Please. I personally support it wholeheartedly. And, but my question is, what would our involvement in supporting it as a board involve? Because are we mixing are we taking a position on a political issue that is that appropriate for a Board of Commissioners? That's my question. And each of us individually can make a decision, put a sign in our yard, but I don't know what do you think?
Phyllis, that's a very good question, and one that I thought about before asking the chair for this agenda item amendment. We're not asking you as individuals to vote or aye or nay on November 5th, but we feel that this money that's going to be, if the passes on November 5th, it could be from $50,000 to $200,000. Right now, we have 94 short-term rentals registered with the city, business license and the ability to collect this 3% tax. That money can be used by the A&P Commission. They will have their own checking account, they have it now, and it can be used to promote and advertise Holiday Island, i.e. getting more people to move and live here. Then we could, as Rich has done such a good job of reducing our budget, we were over budget, some of that money can be used to replace the money that HICID now uses to promote and advertise. And we still have more budget cuts to make, I believe, Rich, for next year. So this is promoting Holiday Island, the city and the CID. We're going forward to get more people in here. In Eureka, it's $2 million a year, $2 million. And there's a big to-do over there now politically about that. But we don't want to go into that detail. We feel it's going to work very well, and the City Council has been supportive of this effort. And there's 2 or 3 members here today out of the 6. If you have any additions, I'd appreciate your coming up to the podium. But I don't think, Ms. Roth, that we're doing anything that would require you to vote one way or another.
I didn't talk about me voting personally. I want to know what we as a group are going to do. I can make my own decision, and again, I support it wholeheartedly. And you can put a sign in my front yard and my backyard.
I think if you...
I would like to know what you are asking of us as a commission.
I agree with Phyllis. Exactly what is it that the AMP Commission is expecting from the Board of Commissioners?
Well, number one, we have a campground,
Yeah.
and when we charge for that campground, we'll be paying a tax on that.
Okay.
If we rent out the ballroom for a wedding or whatever, we'll pay a tax on that.
But it's still, the question is, the AMP Commission is asking for the endorsement of the Board of Commissioners.
Right.
What does that entail, that endorsement?
Okay.
Is it
I like
they want money, or what is it they want from the Board of Commissioners?
Mr. Holland, Ms. Lodewijk, could you come to the podium, answer the question? Give a little more detail than I'm maybe able to do it.
Sorry, Randy, what was your question?
My question is, what does the AMP Commission expect from the endorsement of the Board of Commissioners? What will that entail? Is it financially, is it?
There is nothing that the AMP is asking. Bryce Holland?
Say that again, we didn't hear it.
There is nothing that we're asking of HICID board at this point. This is a motion purely in this board of Ken's making. And
So what
asking
does this
for the board.
endorsement accomplish? Help me understand.
I think as a board, we don't need to get into politics. As far as individuals, we can express our individual thoughts as much as we want to in public or wherever. But as a board, I think we just need to stay mute on the situation, okay?
I move that we table this discussion,
What's that?
that we table this discussion.
Ken, what is your interpretation of what you're asking today?
Yeah, I normally this would have come up on a work session, and then it would have been for a vote today, but it didn't come up. I have just asked to bring this up today, but I guess we have one more comment.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to try to tell you from my perspective what your vote of support for this would be. And that is that you're willing to, willingly going to add the A&P tax onto the campground rentals and the room rentals, And because the money spent will bring new people into Holiday Island. You can't bring people in here unless they know we're here. How many years did we go out here without people coming to Eureka Springs and not knowing we were even here? So this promotion that they're going to do with their funding through this tax will bring new visitors out here for various events, or just to see the lake, or to golf, or to camp, or what have you. So you're getting so much benefit out of this tax money, it's not even funny. That will help us take those empty lots that you're sitting with off the market. Eventually, you know, as people want to move here, there's no place to move in Eureka. So they're going to build a lot out here, even if they have to do it on a hillside with a nice view. And that's what the money's going to do, and that's how HICID's going to benefit.
Thank you very much. Like I said before, I think the board knows that we have a motion before us to table this discussion till further notice.
Are we going to take it to the workshop?
Yes.
I think that's the place for it, but I guess my feeling is this is not political, is what we're talking about. I don't think it's political at all.
Okay.
But that's my opinion.
I'll second.
Ken Mills?
Ken Mills, 20 Rocky Top Circle. I think this is very similar to the same thing we did when we were trying to incorporate. And the board passed a resolution that they were in support of incorporation. I don't think HICID did anything to promote it or contribute any money or any. It was just an issue stating that you had no objections to it, that you did support the action. And it was nothing, I mean, there was no blowback on that I could remember. And I think this is very similar, and that's all they're asking, is that there's a general consensus that this is good for the community.
Thank you, Ken. I think that is definitely good for all the community. But again, yes, Peggy.
Peggy Lodewijk, 19 Bob White Lane. The reason I think Ken was bringing this up now is we start with public meetings early next month. And the city has arranged for this A&P because they knew it was important to bring people in from all over to visit our beautiful place. If we also could say that HICID is supportive from the standpoint of the importance that it's going to help all our amenities and our land, it would just make it a unified, that the city and the HICID is working together to increase our residents and some of the facility usage. So that was our suggestion. Thank you.
So we all understand the A&P and how it's going to benefit Holiday Island, and everybody has their own decision. So what I'm taking in is they're asking us to vote on us approving of the A&P campaign, so that way they can legally say that, hey, HICID agrees with the A&P and promotes it. It's not as a individual, as a person or anything, it's just saying that HICID promotes the A&P to go through. So what you guys, if you want to vote on this, or we can table it, whatever you want to do. So what you would be voting on is saying that HICID, as a group, condones the A&P moving forward and being put on the ballot, and, you know.
I think we could vote on that today, because I don't think it's an issue that we have to put off.
Matter of fact, if you'll make the motion.
I'll make that a motion that we vote on that, and it's that we approve the,
That we support it.
that we support the motion. I mean, we report the approving that we are okay with it.
Do I have a second? I'll second. Okay, we have a motion and a second discussion. Phyllis, do you have anything? I'm fine. Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And therefore, we support the A&P. Thank you very much. Moving right along. Next, we have a resolution 2024 R-6 designating and authorizing the district manager and the wastewater superintendent to execute the documents in connection with the funding administrated by the Arkansas Natural Resource Commission. So that's the resolution that's before us. It-
Things straight.
Resolution does not. require
Regs
to. Regs do.
Okay, it does not require, it's right here if you, if you want to read it. But anyway, I think that's in order. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
We didn't have a motion yet.
No,
Oh, I thought,
no, we didn't.
oh, no, we don't have a motion yet.
I move that we approve this resolution as stated.
I'll second that.
Resolution 2024 R6 designating the district manager and the water superintendent to execute the documents.
This one right here.
It's right there.
Rich, could you maybe explain a little more of the details? Or I generally know what we're talking about here because we talked about it a long time, but just how it works, how it proceeds.
It's just mandatory paperwork we have to do, so that way me and Dan are on the signing of the papers. So it's just standard procedure that we have to do for the grants and everything.
Save us a little money, okay? Okay, we certainly hope. Now that we have a motion and a second, we've had discussion. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving this resolution 2024-R6, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No opposed. Motion passed. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the purchase of an SCADA system, which has to do with the wells and all that good stuff. And we have the bid before us for that.
Mr. Chairman, could Rich explain for those who don't know, and I remember quite a while ago, but exactly what this does, the system, what's it for?
So this is the SCADA system for all the wells and everything, so that way if there's alarm or anything like that, it gets sent back to the office and then sends out phone calls to all the employees, the water department, wastewater department, so that way they know that something's wrong. This system that we have is an older system, and it just has to be updated, so that way we got clear, better maps and everything that just helps the water guys do their job.
Is it a line of sight kind of thing? I know when it's Holiday Island Drive, there's a red light on top of the pole. That system used to be, or was. I think it got hit by lightning once, but
No,
does
no,
that send a
this is-
signal?
Nope, this is all ran through the cable system,
Oh, okay.
so, or through AirNet. So it just, so every well's got a little SCADA program in it, and it sends it back if the well goes down, or power loses power, or anything
Okay.
like that. It sends an alarm back to the office, and that sends out phone calls and text messages to the guys.
Okay.
And that way they know to get in here and get stuff taken care of.
Rich, was this part of the original Well 5 rehab?
No, this is just upkeep that we have to have. This is, actually involves all the wells and everything, so.
I recall something in the Well 5 thing, there was a SCADA project included in that.
Yeah, that's probably part of it, but the main thing at Well 5 is the disconnect and the wiring.
Right.
But yeah, it's all part of the whole system. I mean,
Okay.
it's just,
I-
it just needs to be updated so that way it can work properly for the guys.
The SCADA upgrade was in the 2023 budget as a capital improvement.
Okay.
Is the total, then the totals are what, 145? No, excuse me.
14.
No, that.
21 or
that's
20
only labor.
I don't have that. sheet.
21,879.
Those three items added together.
It's on the back.
About,
Oh, it's on the back.
okay, on that total,
Normally, nothing's on the back.
21,879.
We're not used to double-sided printing.
No, Rich, is this the type of program that is only, it's usually a single source vendor, company that does this?
It is just one, and it's worldwide. I mean, every place I've ever known uses the SCADA system.
Okay, thank you.
This is more maintenance than it is anything else.
It's more preventative maintenance. I mean, it's,
Yes.
it's upgrading it, but then it's also helping them with the other stuff.
Rich, does this change anything as far as inspections, or, I mean, is it saving us time and labor? Do people physically have to go out and do things now that this would do away with?
There's always going to be physical labor in everything we do.
But I mean, instead of someone physically driving out to a site, now they can see it on a computer screen?
And they can. I mean, when you're on call on the weekend, it's probably going to save you having to go to the office and then out to the well. I mean, you get a text on your phone, you're like, oh no, well one's down. So then you can just physically leave your house, drive straight out there, see what's going on. It's going to save time.
Okay.
It's mainly just to keep everything up and running and making sure that we don't have any problems. Without a modern SCADA system, I mean, you could have an alarm go off, and it could be a 15-minute delay with this old system before you realize it. Well, 15 minutes could make the difference of a bearing or a motor or anything. This way, it's a little bit faster, helps keep everything up and going better. It's just something that you always have to upgrade. I mean, it's like you buy a computer, by the time you get it home, get it unboxed, it's outdated. And this is, what's this system, 15 years old now probably, Dan, or? It's older, 2016. Yeah. So it's just time to upgrade it.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Nope. I'll call for a vote. We do have, do we have a motion? No, we don't have a motion. We need a motion to approve the spending of the $21,879.
I make a motion, we approve the 21,000.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I did have one question, Rich. When would that be installed? How long? I should have asked it earlier.
What are we looking for? Time frame on this, Dan? Yeah, once we confirm it, though, we're set in gold. Yeah, a month.
Very good. Thank you, Dan. Anything else? Let's see where we are here. I believe we've got that taken care of, that taken care of. Public comments. Has everybody's expressed themselves? Okay. Commissioner comments.
Mr. Chairman, I have one, and that is about work sessions and then the meeting. Don't know, we have a work session usually the third Monday of the month here at 9 o'clock, and we don't pass anything. There's no motions to be approved. We just have discussion. It's a really good time to get you all to come to the mic and give us ideas and give us input. But as I've been on this committee before, we would take the discussion and the items from the work session, and they would be part of the agenda for the next Monday. And the reason is it would make it a lot shorter. I forgot my watch today, but so I don't know what time it is. But I think this meeting has run along very nicely. But we didn't do that this month. I'm not sure. And I think what I'd like to see is The background material, if you will, if we had to do any research or do any investigations before we vote on something, that would be coming to us in the week in between. You know, we would discuss it, I don't know, we didn't get 3 bids or whatever, and then these meetings would be pretty, not cut and dried, but they would be shorter, and they would be approving motions that would already have been discussed thoroughly the week before. I'll give you one example. Rich has got a task before him of what to do with the country club and the ballroom and all that facility up there by January 1st, I think is what your timeline was. I have some ideas about that, particularly out of the discussion today about the ballroom and walk-in coolers and possibly another restaurateur taking over the Pro Shop Grill and so forth. And I'd like to talk to that speak to that issue before like November, when we're just getting into the final approval of the budget. So maybe at our September workshop, we could get some input as to what he's learned so far and some other ideas. For instance, I have a concern about Room A. There's several clubs down there that are using that now, and if that's changed into the starters area for the whole one, and taking the money in for golf fees and so forth and so on, then those people will have to be put in another room. Problem is, there's not that many rooms there. There's a room where the simulator is. I don't know how often that gets used, and it's not very big. So
perhaps they wind up in the island room.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about it now because that's not appropriate for me. But those are the kinds of things that are in my head of we need your input. I mean, you're paying the bills along with me on our assessment, and in fact, I'll be blunt about it. I think we need a community center, not a country club. I think we need that building to be a community center, just like the island room and just like the sports complex, rec center, and so forth, that's used by all the people, and as much as possible at the least price possible. But I can be convinced otherwise, and those are some kinds of things I'd see in a workshop next month.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question.
Oh,
Please.
name and address.
George, 68 Country Club Drive. My question is, Chairman Stamps, you said you're working on redoing the regulations
Yes,
as
ma'am.
opposed to fees, and you were going to make it right. You will be discussing that in a work session, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then will it go to a regular board meeting here, and it will be voted on
That is correct.
in public?
Yes.
Okay, so we can attend that and know how it's voted on and make comments then.
Okay.
I just want to make sure.
Thank you so much. Any other commissioner comments? Yes, ma'am.
In regard to what Ken just mentioned, and Rich and I have talked about this, his thoughts on workshops are to convey to us what he has in the works, and not everything is required to come to a meeting. For example, our discussion topics were removing the fence, which he's authorized to do without a meeting, looking for an attorney for HICID, the water rate study he addressed again at this meeting. We don't have anything to vote on. And the UV grant he addressed at this meeting. So I think also the last thing on the agenda was to talk about a joint meeting between us and the city. And that's in the works that we learned via email. So I think we're doing a good job of following through from our workshops in various ways without necessarily bringing it. We don't need to bring every single thing to a vote to learn what went on at a workshop. And Rich is doing a good job about conveying all that information to us.
Indeed. I think obviously it goes a little smoother when we have them. We're into 45 minutes now. So it's working. Any further discussion?
I think that these workshops are very important, number one, because we can never talk to another commissioner about business here. And, you know, doing this once a month is, for a guy like me and Randy, hadn't been here, this will be a year in December, that it's very important to have these because we don't know anything about the past and what's been done in the past. So I think it's absolutely important that once a month we have those meetings regardless. And I think those meetings, if it runs at 2 hours, 3 hours, that's fine. But I think we need a thorough discussion on this stuff.
I think you're right, and
The best part about the workshops is I can actually bring stuff to you guys, and we can have an open conversation about it. It helps me gather your thoughts and the community's thoughts on what their thoughts are.
Yeah.
That's a lot of thoughts. So I mean, the work sessions are very important, and I might bring up 5 things on a work session, and not a single one of them is gonna be on the agenda for us to vote on. But it's gonna help me understand what people want. And one little side note, the 2 parking spots out front that say for high-SID customers, we want to try and keep them open if you're here for the meeting, so that way people can come park and pay their payment.
pay the bills and stuff. Okay, agenda scheduling. We want to handle that basically at the workshop.
Workshop the week before.
That'd be soon enough.
Huh? Is that what you want?
Those are the dates.
All right, September 16th and the 23rd. Work session the 16th, regular meeting the 23rd. All good with
Also-
that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, we had a email from Mayor Dan Keyes about a meeting of the Board of Commissioners, and is that, that's the 19th, that wouldn't interfere, that's the date, that wouldn't interfere with these 2 dates? No. But, Rich, do you know any more about that?
Has the 19th been an approved date?
Yeah, the 19th, he said 10 a.m. was our email that we got from.
The 19th at 1, I think it was at 1, and we will have to decide what we're going to do, and there'll have to be a public notice and all that, and then we'll have to have our recorders there to record everything.
You're not going to be here.
I won't be available on the 19th.
I don't know exactly how we're going to work that out yet. I don't feel like all the council members and all the board members need to be there. Maybe we'll do 2 and 2. I mean, that is still working out the details of that between me and Dan.
There was, Rich, there was a committee appointed, I think, when Mr. Presley was here. Some of us, I wasn't one, but I think we had 2 maybe from here and 2 or 3 from the city council, and they were going to meet like a limited group, but nothing happened with that. They never called together that I know of.
Okay, anything else before the BOC? I hear a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?